Welcome to the Smokin Word. Welcome to the Smokin Word.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Smokin Word podcast. Shout out to everybody who's been tapping in like always. Shout out to Carl. Shout out to Killing Time Raw Deal for the last podcast. It was one of my, for me, it was they're my all-time favorite band. So I kind of had like a little kid moment. I got to talk some shit with. I got to get to the bottom of what I think is New York hardcore's the core of the. If you could put the banner of New York hardcore, kind of the one we like a little bit, not the punk rock version. The later, it would be Sick People, the riff from Breakdown, like where Game Changer, the Sick of It All, the Rest in Peace. You know, it was like a mix. Anyway, anybody who didn't check that out, go tap in on that one. But now we had to take things from, well, we're coming at you from Arizona, but originally New Jersey.
Yeah. 30 years now this year.
I know
30
it
years.
don't count, but it's still you are Jersey. I don't care what anybody says. You're like if Arizona was next to like Sea Caucus. Now it's just that's what you made it. But everybody, welcome to the show. I'm gonna say Northside Danny for the point. Me and my boy right now we're like, say your last name because I want to say
Marianino.
There you go. I wanted them doing some justice, but I'm glad we finally got to make this happen. Shit was crazy, but the good thing about you is you're constantly working, constantly putting something out. Like I was just saying, I was talking to my boy, and we were like, shout out to Mick, shout out to all you crocodile hunters out there. You know, I hope to get back to Oz, but first of all, besides that, what's up with you, my brother? It's been a minute.
Yeah, man, I've been, I actually played a 5-song Northside King set about 2 weeks ago, which is first time we played in like almost 7 or 8 years.
Get out of here. And where was that and how did that shit happen?
So we did I had a book release that for a book me and Mick just did, It Blows My Mind, Book 2. And Mick came out from Arizona, from Australia to Arizona. And we were like trying to come up with ideas like, all right, let's do a little book signing, like a little record store. And then it turned into, Todd Hamilton, Todd's band Overstand was like, hey, why don't we play a couple songs and maybe we'll do like a combo thing? Because we did that once before with them. I'm like, all right, that's cool. And then it evolved into, all right, there's 4 bands now playing. I'm like, all right. And then I went into Todd going, hey, I don't mind pulling double duty. You want to do some Northside King songs too? And I was like, all right. So then we hit everybody up, and it was only 5 songs, but still, it was awesome.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do it, what perfect thing for the book? Kind of like, everything got to be confetti now. Like, you got to everything got to be like. Yeah, exactly. Confetti. Hey, voila. Like, that's what I do. I try to pop in like through manholes and shit when I roll up the place. But what's up with Arizona?
It's Arizona. It's 1,000,000 friggin' degrees out here. I love when I get to see friends come through. That's the great thing.
You out there. Like, I feel like when we see, like, I haven't seen you in a while. But I don't feel like I haven't seen you in a while.
No. Some people we can pick up.
Yeah, it really is like that. I catch you on when you pop on some podcast, and I always see you doing stuff. But I swear, I don't feel like because like when we roll up there, I'm like, yo, I don't know, it just feels, And and the thing which is it's funny why I asked because East Coast people when they go anywhere hot, you got it's the dry heat, and I live in the humid heat, but it's heat. And we are 2 big motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
People don't understand. They just see like, oh, it's hot. But I'm like, yo, you remember being back on the East Coast around garbage when it was that hot? Because it got Arizona hot in the city at some point.
Oh, yeah. And it's been getting hotter in the city over there.
Right.
And not everybody's got the air conditioning, like, central air. Well, you got to have that here. But
yeah. And, for guys like us, that we just sweat, and
Yeah.
central air is like ice cube. You know what
I
I mean?
had I had the window air conditioner in my bedroom as a kid in Jersey, and my bed was right up against it, so it was like fucking ice cold air coming at me,
I'll give you a better
all
one.
night.
In my basement in Queens, I was in the basement, and right through the little manhole, that one window we had that the dog would piss on every day,
Yeah,
I had a fucking air conditioner that would go right over me. You know, no wonder I woke up with like a cold for like fucking
you
like
had an earache because you were
yeah, like
so cold
15
all night
minutes. And
long.
but yeah, and now what's up? That let's. I want to ask you of this because you already got books. You did a couple different things. You've done spoken words for this. You got the shows all for this book thing. Where did this start? Where was the idea for you to do this? Because it's a
So
cool idea, and it came. There was no lane for it, so that's why I thought it was like, man, it's a cool idea, and it feels like it was something interesting. If you were like, oh, let me peep it out, you didn't have to be like involved or invested in it. Like, oh shit, what is this? Let me check it out.
Well, I got it. I've always kind of been into writing. As a kid, I used to write short stories and stupid sketches that me and my friends would record. I have some very embarrassing sketches. I got a few. So I grew up with Jason from Kid Dynamite, the singer. We were best buddies growing up. We would make all these stupid video sketches in my basement, like recording, like we'd write stupid things and go from there. But I had a website for years. I don't know if you remember. I think I interviewed you on it. It was I could smell your brains.com
Yeah. I
back
think
in the day.
you a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we, so I kind of I closed that because it was just too much to try to keep that up. There was only two of us, that were consistent. You can't keep that current, like that.
Yeah.
But I'm a lists guy. I'm getting to a point. I write lists. I write lists of everything. I just love to write things down. I don't know why, but like I'm keeping a track of all the movies I've watched in 2021. I have a list going,
Yeah.
So I was keeping a list of all the hate mail I got from Danzig fans.
Oh, from that, yeah. That's how it's, yeah.
That's
Okay.
kind of how this evolved. So, and it was funny as hell. And I'd show my friends, and we'd all laugh. Like some guy said that, you guys, I saw Danny deep throat an entire burrito somewhere, or some shit like that. And we would fucking laugh and laugh. And
Yeah.
I started to put it together, and I was like, this would be kind of funny to maybe write a book about playing in a small hardcore band, and then pepper this shit throughout the book. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I did. So that became this book here, this Don't Ever Punch a Rockstar book.
What a
And
great hold that up again. Hold that up. That cover's so great, man.
yeah, this is a good cover.
Man, that shit's fucking amazing.
So the guys
I
who
never
did the
seen that.
cover,
I never
yeah,
seen that.
no, the guys who did the cover. One of them, the guy who drew it's this guy Mark Kidwell, who does a lot. He does a lot of comic book stuff. Him and my buddy Jay Photos. Jay Photos colored it. Mark designed. I don't know if you watch too many horror movies, but he designed the Tusk in the movie Tusk, the walrus for
Yes.
Kevin Smith. He does a lot of that stuff.
I know you're a movie guy and a horror guy, so I know that was good. So, also that guy worked on movies, right?
Yeah, they do comic books and movies. They do a lot of design stuff. Like Jay, my buddy Jay, who colored it, and he's helped me with every one of my books because he's like a technical guy like that.
Yeah.
He does. I mean, he does. He's the colorist for that comic book Lock and Key, which is Stephen King's son Joe Hill's book.
Man, that's
He
cool shit.
he does Godzilla, the Ninja Turtles. He's got his own stuff, But so yeah, I had those guys do that. But I put this funny book together, and that got me the bug. The book that me and you are talking about today is my 7th book.
7th. All right. Before we even get to that, because I want you to at least shoot down the names to go down them in a minute. I want you to name them all. What I wanted to say on this first thing, because this is very good, because you being like myself, it's different. You've always, when I mean gorillas, we're gorillas. Obviously, we are business owners, stuff guys that, but we're gorillas. We are people wouldn't expect people like us to be able to put something together. It takes a lot. Like, how do you go about saying, all right, I got this idea. I got this thing. I want to put this book together. All right. Yeah. I write in a book. I write pages, but that's not putting a book out. Like, Did you talk to somebody? How did you go about, like, for somebody who may be thinking, how could I do a book? Like, what was your first entrance into punk rock publishing?
But yeah, but basically a biography is DIY.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. I mean, since when I first did the original version of that Don't Ever Punch a Rockstar book, I kind of shopped it around. Nobody wanted anything to do with it. They told me that I can't put people's email addresses in there. And I'm like, why? They sent an email to me. It's a public thing. Or I can't put shit like, because I put the hate mail stuff from the guy who posted it on YouTube or on Blabbermouth. And I put their name in their handle and everything. And everybody was like, you can't do that. So I was like trying to find a way where I could do this on my own. And first off, I learned you need an editor because the original version of it's really choppy. I put the same picture of one of the guys in the band in the book twice. It's like you learn shit. But I found Amazon has a really good self-publishing program, and KDP it's called. And I had a friend that put out a book with that, and he gave me some insight, and that's how I did my first book. And Don't Ever Punch a Rockstar ended up I redid it and made it a little better, made it funnier because when I originally wrote it, I was angrier. There's a lot more humor to it, and actually, DeWolf Publishing republished that book now. They did a 10th anniversary edition of it, but that taught me how to do that. From there, I learned get an editor. From there, I learned do this, do that, and it's evolved and evolved and.
Man, yeah. And for anybody who's wondering, he's talked about it a quadrillion times on the radio. He's a guy who knocked out Danzig in the video. So if you want to know anything about that, you could email him, buy his book, and then when you ask him to sign it, you could ask him questions about it. That's how you hack where everybody wins. You know what I mean? I'll answer any question you want. Come with one of my merch items for me to sign, and we do this.
I like that.
Yeah, and because that's I heard about that through a friend also who did that and was very successful, saying like, they set up you could get on and they print everything, and they're kind of hands on with everything, kind of like a garage band style. Like,
it's a little bit pricier when you buy your own inventory, than if you were to go through a printer and that sort of a thing. But it's. You go on Amazon right now and you buy one of my books outside of the Wolf book because they did that one. But you buy one of my other books, Amazon will print that book and send that book right to you within 2 days or something, 2 to 3 days. And every month I get a little royalty statement. Now with the books I did with me and Mick, we split those. But it's kind of a consistent thing where I don't have to run to the post office every other day to mail out some shit.
Now, and let me ask you this, because we won't have to get intricate with every piece you put out, but are all the books you put out, were all the were there any different, or you stood within the comedy, within the same, were they all like, they're
all different. They're actually, So Don't Ever Punch a Rockstar is more autobiographical. I can never get that word right. Autobiography. Whatever the fuck it is. There you go. But then I did another book after that, and I went in a total different direction. I did a book on revenge movies. I love revenge movies. There's a million books on horror movies and this and that.
That is original. I never heard that.
Yeah, it's called the Mega Book of Revenge Films, Volume 1, The Big Payback.
Okay, real quick then. If you had to give me one, because there's usually a couple. If you had to give me, what do you think right now, one of your top revenge movies right now, you had to give me one, like, all right, I got to pick one. What you think is one
Death Wish 3. First of all, I love Death Wish, but Death Wish 3, when he comes back to New York and he shoots a fucking guy out a window with a bazooka, I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Let me tell you, I think it was the first Death Wish or one of them where there was a rape scene.
Oh, yeah. That's part one,
disturbing. Yo, to this day, that shit was real. Like, somebody should have gone to jail. I said that. I mean, it was that good, and everything back then looked real and gritty.
And then his daughter gets raped again in part 2, or almost raped again, and she jumps out of a window and falls onto a fence and gets impaled. So he goes fucking bonkers again,
Yeah, no, I know, because I know you're a movie guy, and I've caught you a couple of times. See, you're a horror guy too, right? I'm a horror guy, but not to the intricacy that you are. But I know some OG ones like Humanoids of the Deep. People
Oh
don't,
yeah, good
you
one.
know, those were like but people didn't remember. I knew it because I had an older brother. Rest in peace. My brother Dave had me
Yeah.
Exorcist at 4 years old. I was all fucked up. This guy had me watching The Omen. I know, I was creeped out by the time I was 6. You know, I was like,
I
but
can't even imagine The Exorcist at that young of an age because
I
I saw it in high school and I was bugged out in fucking high school.
I won't watch it now alone, nigga. What are you talking about? I won't watch the whole thing. Maybe in the daylight, and where I know I'm gonna go afterwards and have ice cream with my son, like to kill the whole thing, because I don't know how I'll feel that night. Straight up.
Yeah, it fucks you up. I was sleeping. I saw it at my buddy's house, and I went to sleep. And I was, when you're a kid, you're sleeping on the floor. Yeah. And I'm looking up at the ceiling in the middle of the night. I wake up and I see something glowing, and then I see something not glowing, and then I see it glowing, and I bug the fuck out. I jump up. I go to punch it, and my buddy turns the lights on. His parents come in. He had one of those little, like, it was like velvet on one side and then glow in the dark on the other side. It was a little moon, and the fan was turning it. So the fan glowed, didn't glow. That movie fucked with me so bad. I got so bugged out. I bugged.
I love it. That's what I love about those things when they fuck with your head. Like,
yeah.
If you had to pick right now one out of the more recent horror movies that's you say, okay, that legit fucking fucked with me, because I haven't kept up with all the recent ones, but the 101, just what was the last one I saw? There was, man, I forgot the name. I'm gonna remember. But what do you think was the last one that really like said, okay, this seems like
I would say, I wouldn't say like it fucked with me, but I really like it's called Barbarian or Barbarians. It's about this girl rents an Airbnb, and she doesn't realize that there's a basement in the house, and there's a fucking tunnel, and there's all this fucked up shit going on, and they're coming and looking at her in the middle of the night, and that kind of bugged me out, because you think about our Airbnbs, you don't know who's got what in their house. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it scared me, but it really made me think a little bit more. Like,
that is fucking creepy. I saw some shit like that recently on a guy online. He's like at an Airbnb in England, and out of a doorway, the owner comes out, had a basement, but like hidden. He goes, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "Oh, I'm just staying downstairs." He's like, "I rented your Airbnb. I didn't rent. It's nobody's supposed to be here." He's like,
"Yeah."
The lady came out for coffee in the middle. He's like, but creepy. She looked creepy, but
she put the Bustelo on.
Yeah. And you did the revenge book. You did a movie book, basically, kind of that type of thing. And what's dope, it's kind of so far from what all the books that I've seen that you put out were kind of like coffee table books that you could just pick up and, like, you know what I mean? You could just kind of read in pieces and stuff and still like go back to them. That's what I like about all of them. Like,
I like a little. I like to read, but I don't like to have to sit there and be like locked into it. The book I did after that was another fuck that word.
Autobiography.
Yeah, I did. It was called To Make Matters Worse, and it's all these stories from when I was a kid that are fucked up. A lot of poop stories, a lot of stories, because I don't like to poop in public places. A lot of story, which I had to get over on tour. That you can't. You have to move on. But it's all like there was this fat girl pool party we went to. Like, my parents went to Mexico and left me home for a week, and I had this tremendous party, and I got busted. They came home early. It's all stories like that. It's really funny. I went to Scared Straight.
I did that too. I did that.
They came to my school and terrorized us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went to Rikers Island. They did some foul shit. Like, we were right, but to my boy, never forget this. They were like, yo, he's stupid. They go, yo, take off all your gold or whatever. And he tried to tuck his chain in. Yo, the one guy he was like, yo, while he's talking, trying to say his little spiel, he goes, yo, nice chain. He keeps talking, blah, blah, blah. He goes, yo, really nice chain. Yo, bro, come up here. Yo, I want to see how that chain looks on me. Put it on me. And my boy, we were 10.
Yeah.
He 11. We were 11 years old. My boy takes it off, and he was a big kid at that age, and he puts it on him, and the guy goes, "Mine. Go sit down." my boy looked like he was gonna cry. I remember being like,
I can't even imagine. I mean,
it was
those
like,
guys were so scary looking, especially when you were a kid. Oh,
you want to know something? This is something I want people to know. A little background that I I didn't leave there that stuck with me, and it was kind of more funny. But you know what was crazy at the end of it? They don't show that. I don't know in the show, which I used to love. But what we ended up doing is you have lunch with them. You each have a criminal. Every
yeah.
table had a criminal, right? But yo, you talk to them and then they like start like, yo, bro, don't come in here. Yo, I had a kid, Yo, we left feeling bad because they were like, yo, don't come in. You learn like, yo, they could have been your cousin. And now they're talking to them. We had this one black dude, he had his eye taken out like the first week in jail.
We had a guy missing an eye too.
Yeah.
Who had
And
a patch on. They stabbed him with a pencil. They said.
Yeah, and he was going, he was yelling, at first. Then after, he's like, look, man, this sucks because I got caught out there and I was with nobody, And then he's like, yo, I'm going to be here a long time. Don't call, yo. I remember leaving. We felt bad, and I'm like, which was dope. I still was like, I ain't coming back here. Fuck that. But it kind of worked.
Yeah.
But then you got, all right, so you now, because this is another thing, you just named a bunch of books, like to keep things fresh and to keep the topics and like what you're doing so far, you're keeping the topics fresh. What's next?
So the next book I did was a list book. I did a book called The Belligerent Book of Movie Quotes.
Okay.
And I went through my brain and through as many movies as I could think of. I was at a store. It was like a Hallmark store, and I saw a book that was the most loving movie quotes of all time. It was like shit from On Golden Pond and The Notebook. And I'm looking at this book and I'm saying to myself, boy, I would love a book that was all fucked up movie quotes. Like shit from Smokey and the Bandit to Way of the Gun, whatever.
Yeah.
So I assembled that book. I wouldn't say I wrote that book. I kind of assembled that book.
For sure, yeah, but the list book, those are cool. I love all those. Again, you could pick them up and go through them and bug out and get reminded. Give me
the cover of that book is hard. I got Mr. T on it from Rocky 3.
Oh,
I took a screen grab and put him on it.
Give me some of your favorite. Give me a couple favorites from that one.
Well, anything Smokey and the Bandit is my favorite. I mean,
little by little, unfortunately, it's getting forgotten about the whole Smokey and the Bandit kind of thing. Man, that was stuff. My father, rest in peace, knew 2 words in English, but he watched all of those.
I still watch that movie over and over. When he says even the stupidest, littlest lines that you don't even think of a big line, like when the Buford T. Justice leaves the diner and he's got toilet paper on his glasses and he walks out and the lady comes up and she goes, officer, and she takes the toilet paper off his thing, and he just looks at her and goes, nice ass. Like it was just like such a throwaway line, but even that was delivered so good in that movie, But yeah, I love when he's going off about the telling the cop that he's chasing. This is Buford T. Justice. I'm in pursuit of a hot Trans Am. He's all mine. Stand away. And the cop goes, so we're germane to the situation. He goes, that goddamn German's got nothing to do with this.
Whatever. My father, I would walk in and he would watch that. The ones that would always be there and it would keep him glued was those and all the Any Which Way You Can.
Oh yeah, Any Which Way We're Loose. Yeah,
all the Right Turn Clydes. My father loved that. And again,
there's a quote. I know there's a quote from the Spiders. I think the Spiders was the gang in the movie.
The Spiders.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive I got a Spiders quote now.
Amazing. And now you got that. What's the next book you got?
So after that, I did. What was the next one? I did. I guess it was the It Blows My Mind books. Me and Mick. No, I did something after that. I re-released the Don't Ever Punch a Rock Star book.
Yeah, you did. That's the one that you say you revamped, then, right? You put
revamped it, went in, kind of re-cleaned it up, and redid that. And then, God, am I missing a book? I'm losing my mind. I think I'm missing a book, but whatever.
Right there, I'm losing my mind.
But yeah, I did. Another thing was the lists. I started writing down all these things that I'm annoyed by, and I started to read them, and I'm like, okay, these are kind of funny, and I would exaggerate them a little bit for the humor purposes. And I had talked to Mick Lambro in Australia about, hey, I got this idea for this book. I want to create a character. He's basically me, but more exaggerated version of me, who's complaining about every fucking thing in the world that we all are annoyed by. That he's not just complaining to complain; he's complaining about shit that's just fucking stupid that we deal with on a daily basis. And his perception of a little bit of what my father would say, mixed together with what I would say.
Oh, definitely. I know. Oh, I got some good ones. My father said that I'll tell you offline. That we don't want to do so much online, but my father got some classics.
Oh yeah, my father's like the king of like saying shit, and you look back at what he said, and you're like, what the fuck is he even talking about?
Oh yeah, some of the things my father said at the time didn't make sense. Now it makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
that's
I was
true.
laughing, and then now you put in those now. How you connected with Mick? Um, Obviously I know he came out of nowhere and he came out fucking also gangbusters. Because I remember seeing the artwork and he was killing it. And then I was glad that he was connecting with bands. Because one, I know he's a fan of the bands. He has something that all bands need. We always need artwork. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
And it
yeah.
was great that he was right away jumped on board. I know he worked with a lot of, it wasn't
Everybody. He did that Slapshot album cover. I know he's done shirts for you guys or Madball.
everybody, a lot of stuff. We had to talk early on for a lot of stuff, and then he got busy. I remember, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sick of it all. And I think he did a cover. I guess Agnostic Front and Murphy's Law doing something. He did a cover for that. So he was doing some a lot of stuff. I saw his art. I hit him up, and it was like we started talking. We were like boys, like that quick. And he did some Northside King stuff, and then I got that. I don't do much with it because it's just hard to juggle everything. But I got that Total Gavone clothing line,
Yeah.
and he did some shirts for me for that. And we just kept kind of talking about like different ideas. Like, let's collaborate. Let's do a book, maybe something different. I got this idea, and he was really into it. So that's how we ended up doing It Blows My Mind Book One, and I released 2 books this year. The one we're talking about, and then It Blows My Mind Book Two. Crazy.
When did you put that? When did that first collab start? Was that during the 3 year vacation we had?
Yeah, that exactly. It really kind of forced me back into doing some writing. I mean, listen, I'm home. My wife is here. I'm very occupied with her too. But I still was. I got to stay creative. I mean, if I'm not playing music, if I'm not writing music, or writing lyrics, or doing something, I got to come up with some sort of creative outlet. I know you got this. You got the new band. There's you got to keep active with that. And I have always have 3 or 4 different projects in mind.
Yeah.
Some I've started, some I haven't. Like, I want to do a book on Rodney Dangerfield's movie Easy Money. The Making of Easy Money. I don't know if you ever seen the movie. He made it before.
I don't know that one that good. I'm more of a
Back to School is everybody's. I think Easy Money's even better. It's got Joe Pesci in the movie as his best friend. And I interviewed the lady Candace Azario, who plays his wife in the movie. I interviewed a couple other people. I kind of started it, and then sometimes I get I lose a little inspiration, and I got to work on. It's like working on a song. You can't get over the hump. You move on to the next song, and then you come back to that. That's kind of what I'm doing at all times. So, Mick and me we just bam, we worked really good on shit together.
You ended up doing those, and then out of now, how do you feel? I think those type of, I don't want to say niche, but that lane of books, like what you're saying, where it has it kind of short, rapid fire, it's not too intricate comedy, but yet relatable, stuff like that. It's a great lane because nobody had that lane in our world. Everybody in our lane is mainly, they write a biography, and the most, if you want to say creative way, which I personally, I really don't care for it, but I mean, I guess he got creative with it, was Rollins, where he does a play about himself or whatever the fuck whatever. But I get it. He's trying to be, a tough guy, but I'm going to be funny, and I'm also going to try to be.
I'm more self-deprecating than he is.
Exactly. But this, what I like is, that's too smart. This is we don't got to think about it, but we're like, word, that's funny. That's funny. Because like the same thing when you were just saying stuff like that, I was gonna say something I hate. Yo, I hate black jelly beans. I told
Yeah,
Paul,
and I love black jelly
yo,
beans.
Paul, I wrote that like 8 years ago once. I had a thing of jelly beans, and I said I posted it, and Paul Barra to this day would tell me that's like the greatest thing I've ever seen. I don't know why, but I hate candy corn and black jelly beans, everybody. So yeah, um, and then when you connected with Mick, this is what I want. So obviously, obviously with technology, it's easy to go back, to do the artwork and stuff.
Yeah.
And the second time around was now you're talking about stuff you think even he was more involved. More, I mean, obviously he's doing the cover, but knowing what you're doing, you think he got more involved because it seemed like you guys got closer. I heard,
Well, he did more than the cover. I mean, he did almost
okay,
throughout the book. There's images
that's okay.
almost
There
on
you
every
go. Yeah,
page.
yeah.
So
He's involved. He got his hand in there.
You can see my little yellow notepad because some of these I make those videos for. It blows my mind. So
Yeah,
I keep this book on my desk so I don't make a video of that one again.
yeah, nah, hell yeah.
But yeah, he created a whole cast of characters, Mick. For the book, we get this guy Troy, who's kind of a jerk off. He's like this Medagon, typical looking guy, white bread, Wonder Bread looking fella. And then there's kids that are picking their noses, and there's a character named Butchie. And by the time we did book 2, me and Mick, I guess Mick went out, was sick of it all for like a week and a half,
Yep.
and he drove with them. And they started, because he's Greek, they started calling him Stavros. So we created a character for book 2 that looks like Mick, whose name is Stavros.
There you go.
But yeah, it's so when you look at the book, you can kind of, like I say, like here's one for you. It's Carmine with Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
And what I hate is what I'm annoyed by Steven Seagal's new accent. I'm not sure what happened to Steven Seagal, but suddenly he started talking like a blues singer from the 70s, and it's making me crazy. There has to be an old friend in his circle who could tell him he's talking like he's from New Orleans and wearing those traditional Chinese button-down blouses is a bad combo.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me tell you, you know what I just heard? You heard his reggae song?
Oh yeah, with the Bunan, get the Bunan.
Yo, I was blown away. But he is a killer guitarist.
He is very good. So one of my friends in Scotland, my friend Fatty from here in Phoenix, Fatty went out to visit our buddy Pringle in Scotland, and Pringle had tickets to go see Steven Seagal as a surprise. Didn't tell him. Like when he got off the plane, we're going to the concert.
Yeah.
He took him to Steven Seagal. When they got there, dudes were like doing like kung fu in the parking lot and shit, and karate gis everywhere. They were all fucking geared up. It was like a karate fest. And he said the concert was fucking awesome.
No, he could play. A good friend of mine, Beard Truck. Shout out to Beard Truck. He's a guy who used to help out all us when we were kids get equipment discounts. He used to work on 48th Street. Back then, he was kind of like Steven's guy for like, he was a Fender guy. And like a Strat guy, like he would get all the ill, like the most expensive shit. But they go, yo, he could play. He's a collector. And I seen him kind of licking off. I was like, all right, at least he really knows that.
That's funny.
I'm a Seagal fan back then. And
come on, anybody seen Richie? Anybody know why Richie killed Bobby Lupo?
Yeah, I know. And then now you do those books. Now you do these couple. How does the next book come up? The idea pop in your head? Or when you were doing this one, was the next one already on deck, or did that, I know you always got projects in mind, but was this the next project, the next one in your brain, or it was one that just popped up? Because sometimes
it kind of popped up. We were working on It Blows My Mind book 2.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, Mick banged out the artwork in like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Like he really hit the ground running with it. And while he was working on the artwork, I had kind of kicked around this idea about doing a children's book. And I wanted to do an offshoot of the characters from It Blows My Mind, because we had these characters already that maybe we could move some of these over and do maybe a kid-friendly book. Now, Mick has 2 sons.
Yes.
I don't. Me and my wife, we don't have kids. We got dogs, but you
Close
can
enough.
fucking see
Yeah.
behind me. I mean, this room is like a 5-year-old's room back
I
here.
got a dog
you
on
know?
my lap as we speak, but yeah, you feed them, they shit all over the place. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. So I started thinking about what could I kind of do with this Italian American character, because Carmine, he says "oof maron," all kinds of Italian shit throughout that book, because it's me talking. So
Yeah.
you know, I wanted to create, and I'm thinking, and I was like, I would love to do a holiday book, and I'd love to do a Halloween book, and keep it somehow Italian, and very New Jersey, New York, and then also make it kid friendly. And that's where we started to kind of think about it. Originally, I had an idea, the Italian cold cut Superside. I wanted to do a story of a superhero, but he was named Superside, and I was like, he could drop salamis on people. I'm like, that's the stupidest fucking idea ever.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But we ended up doing this book, Night of the Gabagool.
Night of the Gabagool. That's the one now.
That's the one now. That's what we did. Yeah.
Number 7.
That's number 7.
Jeez, that's a lot, man.
Yep.
And now this one, and this one you say you started working simultaneously when you were doing finishing up the last one?
Yeah, Mick went from the artwork from It Blows My Mind book 2 right to Night of the Gabagool.
Yeah.
Because by the time he got done with the artwork, I had already written Night of the Gabagool.
Uh-huh. And let me
Night of the Gabagool is like a poem, so it was like writing a song.
Got you. And when you wrote this, did you ever, while you were writing it, maybe have people with kids read it or check it out? Any appeal?
I did, and the kids all thought it was pretty funny, but the parents really liked it because one of the things that we really wanted to keep with this book is to write a kid-friendly book. But you're a parent, you understand what it's like to read some of those kids' books to the kids especially when they're really little, that probably were the worst fucking books you've ever had to read, So we wanted to make something that, like, if I was a parent and I'm an uncle, if I had to read a book to my niece, and what would I enjoy? So that was a really big thing. And then the artwork was another big thing because, the books that we had when we were kids, like Where the Wild Things Are or The Hungry Caterpillar, I mean, they were so beautiful, and the colors, some of them were bright or painted so uniquely that I wanted to have something that really attracted the kids' eyes, was a funny story, and something a parent could really dig.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And now, so you did, all right, so you did a kid's book. All right, the biography is kind of, it's its own thing. It's really that. You had to put together the concept and all the in-betweens for your list books and the kids book. They're two different things, but they're two different lanes that definitely are two different highways. You can like them both. Did you like doing one more than the other? You can like them both, but I love slow songs, but I have to write fast songs once in a while.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I like that fast song, but I like this slow song. You know what I mean? Like, is there one that you kind of lean towards more? Like, obviously, I know you have fun with the list shit because that's kind of like, but sometimes the newer shit, when you get to dig into something new, do you feel like, oh, I want to dig in deeper to this?
I really enjoyed the kids' book.
That's what I mean.
I love telling stories, and those autobiography, whatever. Those other two books, it's me telling stories, and I got more stories. I got a whole nother idea for another book. With more stories that I probably shouldn't tell, like when I drank a whole bottle of Worcestershire sauce one night when I was drunk in front of Sean Lennon, and I thought I was drinking beer, but I was drinking Worcestershire sauce, and Sean Lennon just sat there and watched me do it. The kids' book, I can do something different with it. I can tap into a different type of show. Like, I'm doing a Comic-Con this weekend, Tucson Comic-Con, and I can bring all my books to that, but there's other shows that are more kid-friendly that I really can't get my foot in the door with. And I want to, one of the cool things that I'm doing with this is I'm also going to donate a bunch of books to the children's hospital.
Yeah,
And I'm really excited to be able to do that. One thing about kids, especially kids who are in the hospital that are sick, they can't always play with toys. I read this whole thing about it where, like, a lot of times they're in a bed and they can't really play with a toy. They can hug a stuffed animal, but that's about the extent of it. But when a parent reads them a book, they're more engaged. Yeah. They're engaged with the parent or whoever's there reading that book.
And they mentally could get out of there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, for Night of the Gabagool, me and Mick, we didn't do this the Amazon way. I tried Kickstarter for this one.
Okay.
Which is a different platform. It's a crowdfunding way. Basically, it's like if you don't get funded, you don't make the book.
Yeah.
Which we got funded. We hit our goal. I did lowball that goal to make sure that we hit the goal. Yeah, but
tough about it. You never know these bad.
It's a gamble.
Yeah.
You're throwing the dice. You don't know. I mean, this is the first time I did one.
Yeah.
But we're printing a hardcover version for the Kickstarter.
Oh, sure.
And it's really nice. It's signed. While Mick was in Arizona, I made him. Since I can't send him all the books to sign, I made this 5x7 sticker. It's gorgeous. It goes in the book. That's signed by him and signed by me. So each book will be signed. And he signed 1,000 of them while he was here because we're printing 1,000.
That's fine.
But yeah, this is going to give me something a little different that I can try.
Yeah. Did you have a follow-up or a next idea for that yet in your head? I
do. So if Night of the Gabagool does good, I mean, we just last night broke the 6,000 mark, and
there you go.
So I have another idea for. So Night of the Gabagool, kind of like Night of the Living Dead. I wanted to continue with the George Romero and do a Christmas book.
All right.
And call it. Italians do the Feast of the Seven Fishes.
Yeah.
So I want to do Feast of the Gabagool and do a Christmas book where he talks about the holiday tradition of, the seven fishes, where it makes a lot of jokes and stuff, and
You ever thought about doing kind of a concept of some of these things, like on video, even as shorts?
Yeah, it blows my mind. I do videos for.
I see you do some of those. I
do that a lot.
Because you know what, you got to do you got to do a review with a kid, like Siskel and Ebert, but you and a kid, and you review fucking movies.
I like that idea.
You do a kid movie and you do an adult movie and have you both give it a yo. You find the right kid, the right spunky kid.
We watch like Beverly Hills Ninja, and then I show them the Warriors.
Yeah, exactly. And then exactly Mighty Ducks, and then you show them like a battle
slap shot. Yeah, Mighty Ducks the slap shot.
But no, it's really cool shit like that, because I always like, again, those type of books that I find myself again traveling a lot. You're in places killing time. I'm in a car and stuff like that. It's cool. Same shit like reading. If you read your Instagram, I'm making posts. I say I hate reading, but I end up reading all day if I'm on my fucking Instagram. You know what I mean? It's like,
I did an audio book for To Make Matters Worse. I went in the studio and recorded a legit audio book. It's on Audible.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about actually putting it up for free now because it's been out for a few years. So what's the difference?
Which one?
To Make Matters Worse. That one I did. Yeah, I couldn't do one with the Don't Ever Punch a Rock Star because that hate mail is peppered through, and that really it goes with the story. But what am I going to do? Change voices to read
it? No, I know what you mean.
It just didn't flow right, Yeah. But To Make Matters Worse, and it's the funny thing about that To Make Matters Worse, if you listen to that audiobook, I recorded a chapter that's not in the print book. I did a whole other chapter to do something like a bonus to it.
Yeah.
And I wrote that the night before I went into the studio, and I kind of freestyled it, and it's so much better because I'm not reading the book. I'm like kind of more telling the story.
Yeah.
I learned. You learn every time you do something.
Nah, for sure. And do you think you would ever do more audio in the future?
Well, so for Night of the Gabagool, I did an audio book.
Oh, I was going to say that you had that.
Yeah, so there's different tiers. So you can pledge the $5 tier gets you just a digital copy. The $20 tier gets you the digital copy and a hardcover book. The $40 tier gets you the digital copy, the hardcover book, a sticker, and I recorded, like in the 80s, those turn the page books, you get the cassette or the record, and you listen to R2D2 when you hear the sound turn the page. Yeah. I recorded one of those with voices and sound effects and music.
That's dope.
It's fucking hilarious. It's really cool. And since like the Gabagool is kind of like, he's rhyming like a poem, like the music, like it flows well. Here's a couple lines to give you an idea. The clock had struck midnight. Troy slept all alone when suddenly the room smelled like provolone. He jumped out of bed from a noise in the cellar. Was somebody eating his vinegar peppers? It's so fucking Italian. It's ridiculous.
You can make it, and you know what? This guy can make us start doing cartoons, like moving.
You know what? I have a trailer on the Kickstarter page where my friend animated the pages from the book.
Yeah,
that's
great.
He really did a good job with it, and I was like, when I'm done with this recording and we get this all done and put to the side, maybe let's take some of your animation and we'll mix it with the recording, because we'll have an audio track with recording with sound and multiple voices. I did the Gabagool's voice, which is me basically doing Mo from The Simpsons, and then did the narrator. My buddy Matt played in another bands from around town back in the day. He did the voice of the character Troy. I got Mick to record a couple lines, send them to me from Australia, and it sounded good enough that we were able to get it in. And my wife does the little kids' voices because
that's great. Mick could be the foreign exchange student. That's
We'll bring you in to do. Something.
Yeah, I'm not the fresh air fund kid. Yeah,
Mick did the homeless guy, because the guy Troy, who's like a total jerk off in the book, he takes money from a homeless guy, and the homeless guy says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And like he did that little voice and stuff. But there's a lot of throwbacks. Like there's a store in one of the pictures that says Capuccio's Bakery.
There you go.
That's Stigma's last name.
Yeah, Vincent Capuccio.
Yep. So we threw some little throwbacks,
Easter eggs.
Little Easter eggs, So a lot of people may not catch, but because people probably think Stigma's his real last name.
Yeah, exactly. I'll give you one a Stigma fact. You know what was the name of Stigma's first band?
No, what's the name?
Black Angus.
That's hilarious.
And he goes, our colors were brown. We wore brown vests. But he sounded so proud when he told me.
Black Angus.
It was like brown. I was like, that's it. It's like brown vest. But Black Angus, I said, that shit got me hungry.
Like Black Angus. They had two blocks. The Warriors had to come through.
They had his stoop. That was it. They had Black
the stoop. Yeah, they were like the orphans.
Yeah, they write about our raids in the paper. Me and my brother used to laugh about. We would look at that one scene. That's a classic one. They write about our raids in the paper. Where they're gonna be this book, the new one. When could people get it? Where they could get it? Let everybody know, and everywhere else to get. I know you got stuff like here, like with the other book. Are you still involved with the other company who put out
the Don't Ever Punch a Rockstar? Yeah, I mean they put that book out. I wanted really Steven, who owns the company with Amy, their partners. He really went in and revamped that book and really did a nice job with it. I'm really proud of it because the original book, I liked it when it came out, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was green. It was like a demo tape. And, and they went in and really like cleaned it up and did a nice job with it. All of my other books are all on Amazon. That's the best way to get them. You can buy them off of my website, DannyMarianino.com or TotalGavone.com. It'll take you to the same place.
Yeah.
But Night of the Gabagool is only on Kickstarter.
That's only how to get to the Kickstarter, they could get on it through your Instagram or through how?
Every one of my pages, my Instagram page, it's the main link for It Blows My Mind, for my personal page.
You send the link whenever you got the actual link. You send me the link to that, and then we'll pass it on our.
I will for sure. Yeah, and then Mick's got it on his page too. You know, so you can go on any one of those. But September 5th is the last day, so it's coming up Tuesday next week is the final day to get in on the Kickstarter. And you know, anybody that is interested in any of my other books, they're all as add-ons. So you can pledge for the the Night of the Gabagool book, and then when you're done with the pledge, it'll ask you, would you like to add on? I got It Blows My Mind 1 and 2. I got Don't Ever Punch a Rock Star, and I think I have the Belligerent Book of Movie Quotes. I didn't put To Make Matters Worse on it. And then we got a shirt that looks like the Ghostbuster logo, but it's got the Gabagool and it says Gabagool on it.
That's great, yeah.
You know, so all on the Kickstarter. But September 5th is the last day for that. We wanted to do a different thing with the Kickstarter. The cool thing about Kickstarter, we retain the rights to it, but you know, Amazon can't print a hardcover book for a kid's book to the quality of the pages and everything else. This is a lot nicer.
You want to step it up. You want to, you know, exactly everything quality. You did it with the artwork. You did it with everything. So I totally get it and I totally hear it. And everybody, my birthday September 2nd. So for my birthday, you're gonna go get on that Kickstarter. It ain't gonna cost you nothing for me. It might cost you a little something for there, but look what you get. Because for me, you're gonna get nothing. But there's olive oil voice. But right there, boom, be a part of this, and you're gonna be. Look at that, boom, dope. Always, man. The artwork's always dope. The cover that should look, you know, really.
Yeah, he did a really good job. Mick really did a good job.
He's dope. You know, in the future, I'm gonna do something, and I'm hoping to get down there eventually. Also, I'm hoping to get back there also to Arizona. Because I know you got a big barbecue.
Oh yeah,
things you hang meat off of or whatever. We need to do.
I do. I got the Santa Maria grill now. Where it's got the wheel that you roll up, and I can do a tomahawk steak right now better than any restaurant in town.
I believe you, but I'm gonna hold you on that just so we can.
All right.
And if not, we're gonna put Ezek on there. We're gonna if it ain't good, Ezek pays for it. You know, and listen, on the real, I was glad you're able to jump on, especially now. We were trying to make this happen for a minute. And the next time when you're doing the next spot, I want you to jump on when I get Busky on, because you're doing a Comic-Con and these things pop up. And it's really cool that you even get to do that, because that's pretty big, man, to be able to get in there. You know what I mean? To do stuff like that.
This year alone, I got to do the Punk Rock Museum.
Great.
I did a signing at the Punk Rock Museum in Vegas. I did a signing at Generation Records in New York. And then Phoenix Comic-Con, Tucson Comic-Con. Last year I did Las Cruces. If I can get there close enough where I could drive in a car for the most part, I love doing those Comic-Cons.
For that, it's pretty dope. Yeah, you go have fun.
Yeah, and you know, you meet different people, you get out to a different audience, and then there's always some crazy guests. Like there's a bunch of wrestlers this year. Jimmy Hart is going to be there.
Oh, that's dope.
But the guy I'm the most excited for, John Rathenberger is his name. Real name is Cliff from Cheers.
Oh shit, he's alive.
The mailman's alive, yes, and he's going to be at Tucson Comic-Con. So
his mustache, he's still.
I mean, listen. If I tell people, you know, the soundtrack of my life growing up wasn't quite a music outside of the Fat Boys, maybe. The soundtrack of my life was Cheers. It started in 1982 and it ended in 93. That was my whole elementary school, middle school, high school. I watched my entire growing up. I watched Cheers. My parents watched it regularly. So I grew up with Sam Malone and fucking Norm, you know,
Great.
That was it.
Yeah, classic for sure. Yeah. And it's dope though, because now what you do with making the list, even what you're doing, is in that world, the Comic-Con world, where they have a lot of these old school classic character actors that everybody loves, and they're like, where are they now? Kind of people. Some of them in it. I love that shit. I always would look for that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
It's fun. I meet different people, and then a lot of times people come by the booth and then they grab a copy of it. Blows my mind. The wrestler, the Honky Tonk Man. He's
oh,
a huge fan of it. Blows my mind.
yeah, that's dope. He's
I
great.
did 2 shows that he was at last year, and he remembered the book so much. Every time I walked past him, he kept saying, because I one of the things in the book I say, Italian wedding soup. I'm Italian. I've been to a fucking million Italian weddings. I've never seen Italian wedding soup anywhere.
Yeah, right,
What
exactly.
kind of racist shit is that? What if I throw a wonton in it? It's
Yeah,
fucking Chinese wedding soup all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
Italian wedding.
So he goes every time. He's like, "Ah, goddamn Italian wedding soup,"
And Honky Tonk was the biggest wrestler at his peak in the world.
Yeah, I think he was the longest intercontinental champion.
I remember him. I hated him so much that
he was such a fucking asshole.
Like, listen, I'm glad we're gonna do one. We're gonna do a horror movie one. Because I got some classics that I gotta go. Because I know you're a movie guy.
Yeah,
but listen, I'm glad you were able to jump on this. Always keep us posted. You know the deal. Everybody, make sure you go to that Kickstarter and go kick some shit over there. And go check out this. And it's on Amazon. Everybody, nothing's easier than ordering on Amazon. That's for sure. And that's dope that you have that. Exactly. Listen, everybody. He's even doing the Kickstarter for everybody who's talking that wants to live that guerrilla life. And also, if you have a job in a 401k, you got Amazon. Listen.
Yeah. And I'm planning on. I just got a video from China. At the printers in China. He sent me a video of him holding the book, opening the book, turning page by page, and they're shipping me the proof right now because I already placed my order. So because the book is happening, we hit goal, but our goal is to ship by December, by Christmas.
Gotcha.
So if you grab it, even if you grab a copy and you want to give it to a kid for the holidays, somebody you got a friend who's an Italian guy that you think he'll get a kick out of this. Or somebody who likes Halloween, you can grab the book and hopefully if you're in the U.S., you'll get it by the holidays.
And if you're listening to this, you definitely want it. It's everything, you'll understand the humor and you'll understand the attitude. You understand where the heart comes from this stuff because, that's the one great thing about the world we come from. It's many faces, many dialects, but it all comes down to basically like Vinny stigma. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Everybody understands stigma, and stigma is what we all are. And I mean, you take somebody from, the middle of a Czech Republic, it don't matter. Stigma is going to be stigma, and they understand it, and that's what we let it be. But good luck with everything. You already know the deal. Keep us posted. Stay on once we sign off real quick. Everybody, make sure you go to support the Kickstarter. Go on his Instagram and go follow. Go get that book on Amazon. And we're gonna get freaking the Oz. We're gonna get the crazy Oz man involved with some future artwork and other stuff. And we're gonna get him up on here also. We're gonna have an art episode because he definitely he made his imprint with a lot of bands.
Yeah.
But all right, everybody, hang on 1 second, Danny. Everybody, we out of here till next time. Peace.
All right.